真为拔处士
For 为拔处士. People don't see each other often like the morning star and the evening star. What night is tonight, that we are under the same candlelight? How long can we remain young? Our hairs have turned white. Half of our old friends have been ghosts. It astonishes us. How can I know that after 20 years that I will be your guest? When we left each other, you were not married. Now your children are in a line. They politely ask me, where do I come from? Before I finish answering, you've sent one of them to fetch wine. The new leaks from the garden in the night rain and newly heated wine. You say it's hard to meet again, and we drink 10 vessels full. 10 vessels are not enough. I feel your deep friendship. Tomorrow we will be mountains apart. Nothing is certain in this world.
10毫利
The official of 10毫. At night I sought lodging at 10毫. Officials tried to enlist soldiers. An old man escaped by jumping the wall. His old wife went out to look. The officials yelled in anger. The old woman cried in sorrow. My 3 sons were enlisted and went to your city. The oldest boy wrote the other 2 had died in battle. The living is trying to live. The dead are gone forever. I have no one else in the house except a baby. Because he is still drinking his mother's milk, therefore my daughter-in-law is still home. She doesn't have a single skirt. Though I am old, let me go with you. I can cook breakfast for the army. The night was deep. Everything was quiet. Only low sobbing was heard. In the morning I went on the road. I said goodbye to the old man, now alone.
新婚别
Parting of the newlyweds. The vines grew intertwined. They could not grow long. Marrying a daughter to a soldier was worse than discarding her at the roadside. I was to be your wife. Last night we were married. The bed had not been warm. This morning we said goodbye. Why such haste? You were stationed not far away, a guard at the border in Heyang. My position was not clear. Should I kowtow to your parents? My parents brought me up and hid me inside the house. A daughter had to be married and followed her husband whether he was a chicken or a dog. Now you were going to a life or death place. I felt pain inside. I swore to follow you, but by doing that, it would make things from bad to worse. Don't think of your bride. Be diligent in the army. If a woman joined the army, it would affect the morale. I was a poor family's daughter. Some time ago, your family sent me a silk dress. I will not put it on again. I had cleaned the makeup from my face in front of you. I looked at the flying birds. The big ones and the little ones were all in pairs. Life was not meant to be our wish. Please think about me from now on.
垂老别
The old soldier's goodbye. Everything around is quiet. In my old age I have no peace. My sons and grandsons have all died in battle. Why am I still living? I throw away my walking stick and walk out of the door. My fellow enlisters feel sorrow for me. It is fortunate that I still have my teeth. My bones are brittle. The soldiers have put on their armor. I will now say farewell to my local officials. My old wife cries lying by the roadside. It is the end of the year. Her clothes are still thin. Who would know our parting is temporary or forever? I feel sad about her thin clothing. I know I will not be able to come back. I hear her bidding me to eat adequately. The fort is sturdy, and it will be hard for the enemy to cross the apricot garden. The situation this time is different from the skirmish at your fort. Even eventually I will die, but I am going to live for a while. Life is full of parting sorrow. It doesn't matter if one is young or old. I remember when I left home in youth, I didn't feel any sadness. Now I am in sorrow. War is everywhere. The hills burnt with battle fires. Dead bodies are stacked on the plains, and the grass smelled fetid. Blood ran like a river and stained the fields. Where is the land of happiness? How dare I stay behind any longer? But when I think of leaving my home forever, my insides are breaking.
无家别
Homeless farewell. After the War of Tianbao, the land was barren. My village had once over 100 families. They were all scattered. The live ones were without news. The dead ones had turned to dust. I was a defeated soldier and followed the same route I went and came home. I walked for a long time and came upon an empty lane. Under the dim sun, everything was destroyed. The foxes looked at me and they howled their anger. There were only 1 or 2 old women left. The birds came back to the old branches at night. I couldn't leave my no longer existing home. I stayed and hoed in spring and carried back water in the evening. The magistrate knew that I had returned and demanded that I joined the military training again. I was sent to work at the same district. It was not far, but I had no one to say goodbye to. I would go alone, and my future was unknown. My mother had died after a long illness. 5 years later, she was still not buried, and that was my eternal sorrow. She had a useless son, and we lived in eternal poverty. Her body was thrown into a ditch in the wilderness. My heart filled with bitter sorrow. A man had no home to say goodbye to. How could I face people